So without further ado, let's kind of stand up, find your space. We are going to be moving to doing some exercises laying on the floor. So if you are in your home space and you want to grab a blanket or a towel, that might be a nice thing to have with you right now. So I'll give like a little gap if you want to grab that for yourself. That would be really nice to have around. I've got mine ready. Cool. And we don't need it right away, so you can just set it aside when you do return. And then the other prop to have is if you want to work with your band or your scarf, you can have that with. So that is another additional option for those of you who want to keep working on frame stamina. You can take, whatever, just a winter scarf or a TheraBand, and you can keep playing with how much tension you can give that elbow to elbow line. You can start kind of working different lines of your partnership through that, but it just gives you a sense of a 3D action as well as build some of that arm strength and stamina. So if that's something you want, make sure you have that near you now. I'm not necessarily going to use that tonight, but if I see you on there again and you're working with that and you have questions, it's always great to bring it up also while we have our time together. All right. Are we good to go? Thumbs up, nods, jumps. Cool. Thank you. All right. American Tango is our theme. So we have our basic rhythm, our basic sense of weight into the floor. So let's just kind of really quickly tap back through those things. So are we high in the stance or low in the stance? Low. Good. Everyone's going down. Awesome to see. Are we taking a lot of heel leads? Are we doing a lot of toe leads? Kind of the same. All right. Lots of heels. Thank you for pointing to your heels. I feel like we could also make this a comedy video later, which would be great. What's our timing? Anyone can tell me the basic timing? Kai. Go, Kai, go. Thank you.
Slow, quick.
Yeah, slow, quick, quick. Slow, slow, quick, quick, slow is kind of our basics. So what do we joke to absolute beginners? If you can spell it, you can dance it, right? That T-A-N-G-O. Slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. So that's kind of the base of what we're going to have in the back of our minds. All right. Now, going into what that basic American style step is for tango, again, I'm going to start with the leader side. So we'll be beginning with our left leg, right? And I'm going to step back so you can see full body. As someone pointed out last week, I'll try to take more breaks where you can dance it with me. So I'll have my back facing to the camera, but you can then see the feet in a different way too. So we'll do that kind of intermittently. So we're beginning, we have kind of this lowering into our legs. I always want you feeling like you've got full weight on your right leg to begin as a leader. We're compressing down and we have that striking heel walk, slow, going forward. A second time, slow. And then another third one on a quick rhythm, quick, a side and slightly forward step, quick, and a hold or a drag. I hate to say drag, but there's a small dragging action. More collection of the legs under our body. So again, whatever that is for your body type, that should look very different on different people. So again, starting out with our basic action, left foot begins, forward walk, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. So that's our leaders portion of tango. One more time, thinking about where those feet are going to go as far as a heel or a toe arrival. So we said this is a lower dance. I don't want you to feel like you squat as low as you can and then you walk, right? I look pretty silly doing this. So there is some leg rise and fall where we're keeping a little bit of pliability in how our weight shifts down and then comes back up as we would pull that leg underneath us. So I'm lowering to extend, right? We'll talk about kind of how that changes to a strike hopefully later on. The heel, I shift through, and we talked again like last week, feeling like the wheels are turning. So we arrive with a little bit of grace. There isn't this clunk onto the foot, but we're more just shifting over. And then I get to come up just a little bit to help that leg collect. So a hair, right? Notice my knee is still bent. I haven't taken that up to a large rise, either exaggerated in my body or in my feet, right? It's just a little bit of an action in how much bend of my knee is happening. Now, I relower to extend the foot, repeating, now other side. Wheels go again, a little rise to pick up and be able to pass my foot. Again, same, quick, quick. These are staying low now. If you notice when I'm going to that side step, I'm not going totally crunched over right away. I've got a little inside edge that I'm transitioning to full foot. If that's something you're ready for, you can play with that. And then here, that feeling of collecting underneath our center. So let's try that again faster, thinking about those finer points in whatever capacity you feel ready to do them. If you want to add your frame, you can. If you want to add your band, you can. And slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. Okay, I'm going to dance it, backing you. Ready? And slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. Good. Any questions so far on leads, American Tango, basic stuff? Okay, I've got no hands. Let's go on to follows. So follows, we're beginning right foot back, right? So we've got back walk, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. Same thing as we start to talk about our finer points, where we're being nice and low in our legs. But again, I'm not squatting down and trying to walk and hold it. So there is that leg rhythm that is still got life to it. There's still a circularity to what's happening there. So as I'm lowering down, I've got weight fully on that left foot. Again, you should see that I'm nice and stacked over here. I don't have my hip released to the side. So kind of back to our sway idea. How sway and alignment keeps us over the foot. So I should feel like I've got that nice line and it's very visible. I'm reaching the leg as I lower down. Wheels turn again to move me through, releasing that front toe. I don't know if you can see that in our camera view, but we'll get on the next step if you can. And then just a little bit of leg lift to collect. Same, I reach back by lowering my standing leg, roll through the wheel, a little bit of collection. Again, staying a little bit more down here. Inside edge, roll through it, and collecting with a small drag if that's what my body needs under my body. Okay, a little bit faster from that follows perspective. Adding the frame if you're ready. And slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. One more time, and then I'll do it backing. And slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. Right? Once again, and slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. Good. Any questions on the follows part of American Tango Basic? Connor, do we have anything in the feed we need to address so far?
Not as of yet, we don't. Okay.
All right, I see no questions.
I have a quick question.
Sure, yay, Ames, thanks for waving me down. Go for it.
Since we dance tango pretty low, how do we focus, how do we still keep our posture nice and straight when we're so ground?
So good, very good question. I'm going to take a little diversion with that. We can come back to this piece when we have our concepts class, which I believe is next week. As we're lowering for me is more just a leg action. So I shouldn't see any slouching in the body, any drooping. I shouldn't see any compression of a side for sure, or of your core. So when we're bending down, we want to still have a nice sense of like creasing our pant line at our hip joint. So if you have like loose trousers on, you would bend into your leg in a way that you would see that nice clean kind of V line in the crease of your hip and your leg joint. So that tells me that there's just truly a bend happening ankle, knee, and hip line, which would allow the rest of the posture line to stay upward. So as ballroom dancers, and especially in our smooth style, we are working a lot more with this polarity of kind of an anchored base and a floating top. So we've got this sense of everything kind of waist downward. And I don't really want to say waist, let's say base of the pelvis. Like if you think of your pelvis as a bowl and you put water in it, it'd be really heavy at the bottom of the bowl, right? Where the weight would sit. So that's kind of everything sinking down, finding the earth through with the weightedness. Everything else is trying to float and lift. So whether that's each vertebra of the spine, like thinking of each disc expanding to help you lift higher up, whether that's thinking of frame having less funneling up the top, we've got this dimensional aspect happening with up and down. So when I say this is a lower dance, it's where I'm really trying to emphasize to you that it's lower in my legs, but it's not lower in my body, right? And again, we talked about this with rumba the first week with me, and again, in a little bit in foxtrot, but when I gave you that example of I don't just squat down and do my steps, what is wrong with that example? Can you see? I mean, there's a lot wrong with that, but what's the most obvious thing that we've been talking about? Okay, no hands. So it's where your spine is, right? Like if you just think of squatting into your legs, a squat for most people is a two-legged action. So you're going down here. Well, now how am I supposed to move? Because I have my spine directly in the middle. So like I was kind of showing in a previous version here, that I want to make sure that I have my weight fully there. So that means that my hip isn't out to the side. Got that sense of foot, knee, hip, drawing one kind of vertical line through and up, even though they're zigzagged in my front and back dimension. So zigzag balance is kind of something I would like to talk about on our concept week, where we start looking at, yes, we have this sense of up and down on our vertical plane, but when we start thinking about our sagittal plane, we have a lot of dimensions there and a lot of points that go in our front and back and our diagonal lines that have to connect and keep our posture going as we're doing this little bit of legs and leg rise and leg roll through.
So question, when we are going backwards as a follower, right leg, then left leg, and one more right leg, do we drag on the ball of our foot or we drag with the heel?
There is no drag. There's a release of your weight that should move through. So if I'm rolling through, whether it's a forward or a back step, I will show both. So as I'm going forward, the only reason my heel is brushing is because I'm lowering into that extension, and it's very, very minimal. Now, as I go to transfer my weight, that's why I said I want you to think of the wheel. I'm already splitting my weight. So there should be this moment in the middle where I've got 50% of my weight front, 50% of my weight back, and I'm equally balanced. Now, as I go through a wheel again, I'm shifting that amount till I arrive at 100. And then as soon as I'm there, I'm collecting the foot. So again, I don't want to try to drag it in. It's all coming from my standing leg action. Same when I'm going back. I'm lowering. That's what's making this happen, not I'm down so I move my foot. It's like a really different sense of being in the body and a different sense of how our weight would reach our partner. So that lowering extends. Again, we have that idea of the wheel shifts us. I could find that 50-50 balance. I continue the wheel, get over my foot. And again, it's that little lift here that's going to bring it in. So yes, your heel is dragging, but it's not a purposeful drag. It's a byproduct of our standing leg action. Clear? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Cool. So we all have a perfect basic. Is that what you're telling me?
Absolutely.
No? Okay. All right. Well, let's go on. So from here, the whole point of our class tonight is talking about promenade, right? So let's go ahead and tackle just adding on a promenade basic to the end of this. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about all those nuances of how we make that change from closed position to promenade position. So leaders, you might have to shimmy around in your spaces a little bit. Let's say we just did our tango close. For now, we're gonna just make sure that our feet are kind of ready to go on the angle. So like an eighth of turn from where we landed. And we're going to walk side. So we're going to walk forward, forward. We're gonna turn to connect everything up. And then our forward side drag, our tango close. Trying to make sure I stay in camera to show you here. So this is gonna be like the smallest promenade basic in the history of mankind. Normally this stuff, I want you to move and cruise. So all of these actions where we are dancing moderately in our spaces, again, please know that that is an adaptation. So here we would have our small walk, we rotate everything, which is going to close our partner, forward, side, drag. And again, drag being how it would come underneath our body there. All right. Good. Leaders, let's do one time. I will back you so you can dance it with me. Here we go. Slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. All right. Followers. So we just arrived with our tango close. Back, side, close or drag. People say it a lot of different ways. We're going, again, thinking of just an eighth of turn. Notice that I haven't like turned and walked open. So we'll talk about that a lot, but still keeping our feet pointing on that eighth. Walk forward, walk forward. Now here we're going to think of where our partner was. We're going to turn with a little swiveling action and do our back, side, close. Sorry, went on a camera. Back, side, close. One more time for my follows, please. So we have slow, slow, and quick, quick, slow. Questions? I see hands up, but I can't tell if there's a hair issue going on or someone has a question. So anything in the chat, Connor? No?
Nothing, no.
Cool. All right. So we've got our basic and we've got our promenade basic. So going back to my leader's perspective, as we're dancing through, we've done our walk slow, slow. We're going to kind of zoom in now on our tango close. And I'd also like to then later on look at maybe a linking action. So we're going through, I want you to think there's a little bit of a rotation in the body. 1, 2, and then here I'm actually giving a little bit more extension into frame for my partner. So I'm building up, like I said earlier, kind of that sense of funnel, giving a little bit of diagonal extension. And now I'm going to turn my foot and my head and lower down, slight lowering down. So I've done extension and flip drop. And now I'm in promenade. And again, marking only that eighth of turn. So I am not going extend and full turn, all right? Even if I would have left my arms here, now I'm dancing with a new partner, okay? So the only base thing, like if you are a complete newcomer, you've never danced this before, the only thing you need to worry about is having enough room to pass your inside leg. And that's why I'm saying an eighth of turn, meaning if I'm doing just that little bit of eighth with my feet, I can still walk really glued to my partner with my inside leg. If I go all the way over here, yeah, now we're just kind of doing like a beluga dance or kind of one of these comical hip bounce things, right? We're not actually going to be able to maintain any sort of nice dance frame or position. Okay, so leaders, quick recap of all those main points again. As we're doing that tango close, quick, I'm getting a little bit more contra body, slightly positive right side. As I hit the side step, lots of extension, leading my partner stronger left headline. And that's coming from a little bit more sway and alignment, but thinking of that spiraling action coming from the upper sternum forward and extension out of the elbow. Yes, we could have a whole semester just on that. And then turning my foot and my head at the same time, slight drop in my legs to lead the change to promenade through there. Okay. Questions, leaders? All right, let's do the follower perspective. So followers, we're doing again, let me find where I am in my frame there, good. So we've done our tango close, right, with our feet. So if we're getting led with a positive side, it means we have a little bit of adaptation. And I feel like as a lady, one strong idea that really helped me was not thinking of it, if my partner's got a positive side, that I have a negative side. It's more that I have an oppositional positive side. So if my leaders are coming through and this may be my negative side, I'm actually going to think about it more of where my positive side is. So taking my right side, giving a little bit more oomph and extension there rather than thinking of sinking on the left. So there's my quick. As I get to quick, we just talked about how much extension and spiraling of that funnel up we're going to get from the lead. So we've got to make sure we're accommodating that and building it. So if they give us 25%, we've got to max that to the 100. We have to amplify whatever it is that we're given from the lead as a follower. So if I'm given a little bit, it still needs to be bigger than what was given. If I'm given a lot, I've got to do double the amount of a lot, okay? So hips coming under, that sway through alignment, making sure I'm stacked on that foot. And then I'm feeling that spiral. So for me, this is like thinking of a funnel that's getting bigger up through the top here on that side of my body, getting some extension. And notice that I'm not turning my head over here. We're going to work a little more on that, but my head is still staying inside of my frame slightly. Now I turn my foot, turn my head, slight drop, same rule as the lead to arrive in promenade. And notice again, I didn't arrive with this released. I've got that underneath me still on that foot because that's still going to be my driving leg to move. Okay, let's try that again for my followers. Starting with that tango close. So thinking a little bit more right side positive. Quick, quick, slow. And we say slow, but I really want you thinking, and this is probably the one time I want you to hold a slow. And hold later will become a compression, and it'll become a setup for a strike and all these other things. But for now, beginner perspective and slow. So we're getting the change, and we show that moment of stillness. So something is only going to read fast if we have the contrast of still before or after it. And that's exactly what we're trying to show our viewer here. All right, questions? I feel like that was a lot of really heavy stuff I just said. Can I take a quick view of you guys trying that out? So take like 2 minutes, please, maybe not even that long. And if you can dance it in your camera in whatever role you want to be, right? Leader, follow, or both. That's totally cool. And let me just kind of get a feel of how that's landing in your bodies too. Okay? Now, and you don't have to go on to the second half of that promenade basic if you don't feel ready either. Yeah, nice, Ross. That was good. Very clear. Yeah, so I can see a lot of you are really nicely aligned over your feet, which is great. Cool. Okay, any questions after trying it out a little bit more? No? Good to go? Yeah, so one of the really great things that I can see you all doing is not having a lot of twists or distortions off of your standing leg. So even if you're on the beginning side, that looks really awesome. You're there, you're balanced. Even if you haven't got a ton of extension here, you've got the concept. It's more important, like extending our head and adding volume to our frame and all these things we think are so necessary and, you know, we have to do to make it beautiful. Yes, they're really aesthetic qualities. If we're not on our foot and on our balance, we might as well not do them. So from a judging perspective and a teaching perspective, I'm always going to want to see that you arrive on your foot, on balance, way more than I'm going to want to see you get there falling over trying to do something that's the next layer of material. So kudos, good job. So let's tackle now. We talked about how we open to promenade. Let's go on in that basic step and reclose back to closed position. So I'm taking my leaders first. So we are now in our promenade. Our toes are going to stay pointing at that 1/8 off of where we did our first original basic. So I don't turn my toes the direction of travel. My toes are staying on that little bit of a diagonalized pattern. So I'm walking on the diagonal, even though I'm heading forward and down my line of dance. This can confuse a lot of people. So speak up if you're lost. Second step, slow. I'm still pointing that toe on the angle. And now as I arrive, so I've gone through my middle point, I'm going to swivel my standing leg to face line of dance. Oh, I'm just going to show that one more time. So I've done walk, walk, end. It's not a huge change, but we are definitely going from our 1/8, right? And then making that now a quarter turn to our left as leaders. Okay, so if we went back and just kind of walked through that basic, going straight down line of dance, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, change, slow, slow, and quick, quick, slow. Let me give you a little recap. All right, then from there, we've led, whether we want to or not, we've turned our foot, which means we should have turned our head with it. And now our body, we don't want to keep that turning. So I'm actually thinking of under turning my upper body. So I'm leaving my rib, right? My rib here, and that sense of my funnel, right? Thinking front to frame to partner to out the head back. My funnel a little bit rotated off. So if this is my line of dance, my funnel might be pointing about here. So you see that there's a little difference in rotation. I'm not trying to get that over here because now do you see that I've actually almost rotated away from you? So I get a little bit of this sense of it kind of closing in on itself that we don't want. So looking at it a little more in frame, walk, walk, swivel, rather than squaring it up. So I'm still on that nice frame here. Same tango close, tango, drag. And then leaders, it's up to you what's next, right? So we're kind of putting this endpoint on it, but if you were turning to promenade again, you'd obviously apply the same material. If you're staying in a traditional closed position, you would do different setups for whatever figures after that too. All right, any questions from my leader group? Nothing? Okay, let's do the follower portion of that. Yeah, let me go this way and then I'll turn back. So followers, we've kind of arrived. We're doing our walk. We've got our same eighth. Hold our toes on that eighth, even though I'm traveling straight down my line of dance, which would have been a quarter turn. And then as I come around, I'm going to think of moving my left side kind of circular through the space as I turn my foot and head again, foot and head. So I've done here, make sure I'm in camera, walk, walk, foot and head. So I'm ready to go. And notice that I'm not trying to get totally square to the line of dance either. So the same way that I asked my leaders to underturn, followers, you need to underturn. So I'm getting there. Again, I've got that crease. I'm ready to move. I've got a little underturn in my body, and I've got a lot of volume here, setting me up to be able to let me get that tango close again. One more time for my followers, please. Slow, slow, and quick, quick, slow. One common pitfall for followers, and I can feel it's really easy to do, especially if you're on a bad floor like I am, if you've got carpet, is we don't want to do anything with this leg, right, our free leg, to try to flip us around. All that's happening is a rotation of the standing leg thigh, okay? So once I've done the walk, walk, it's just this leg here, turning left, right? Opening the door. I shouldn't feel like I have to kick, swing, do anything with my oppositional leg. It's just along for the ride, which means it might, again, look as if it's trailing or dragging or doing a kind of a toe swiveling action, when really it's just following whatever line is created by my standing leg rotation inside that swivel. Cool? Thumbs up, thumbs down, nods, jumps. Yay, cool. All right, any questions in the chat, Connor?
No.
Okay, cool. I'd rather have you interjecting, so I'm super happy with that. Okay, should we put everything together? Do we feel ready for that? Thumbs up, thumbs down, please. Ready? Cool. Okay, leaders, let's go from the beginning of yours. We'll walk through it once. I'll do it facing you. I'll turn, I'll do it backing you, and then we'll move on to followers. Same, I'll face you, I'll back you, and then we'll dance it with some music, because that's our ultimate goal, right? Okay? Neutral frame, frame up, whatever works for you. Ready, and slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, 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 quick, quick, slow. Okay, leaders. Again, this time I'm going to say those ends. Those ends in there are not the formal count, but they are the point that, again, I want you to show the speed and then contrast it with the stillness after. So for me, thinking of that actually happening on the end gets me ahead of the beat and not lagging behind into the actual beat to show the stillness. So we have leaders again. Slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, and slow, slow, and quick, quick, slow. Cool? Thumbs up, thumbs down if you're a leader. Think we're good? Okay, followers. You come up. Same, I'll face you. Basic timing. Slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, 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 quick, quick, slow. All right, I'm going to back you this time and say those end counts where I'd like you to think of that action. Slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, 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 and quick, quick, slow. All right, came a little bout. So we would do slow, slow, and quick, quick, slow. Yeah? I see people coming forward, so sorry. I'm kind of trying to pause to give you a second to interject if you want. Any questions, followers? All right.
So which direction are your feet facing after you pivot?
After I pivot, I should be facing whatever line of dance.
Okay.
So, it's kind of hard to see in here. Like, yeah, let me do that. So on our most like fundamental level, you're just making like a nice, you know, perpendicular shape, whichever way you're thinking of going. So I'm going straight, my toes are turning at the angle, and then I would finish the turn coming all the way around to line of dance. So quarter turn in your line of dance, kind of bird's eye view scheme, but a little different based on what part you're doing, when and where that happens. Did that help?
Yes, thank you so much.
Anybody else? No? Okay. Music. We feel ready for music? Cool. All right. If we do get any sort of delay and I'm dancing on something different than what you're hearing, that's been happening occasionally. So let's hope it doesn't go, but if it does, just work with it best we can. Starting with my leaders. Ready? Half. Slow. Slow. Quick, quick, and slow. 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 And quick, quick, slow. And leaders, I'll do one more time. Backing you. 5, 6, here we go. Slow. All right. Followers. 5, 6, 7, 8, slow. And slow. And backing. 5, 6, 7, 8. How did it go? Good? Cool. So
It's harder than I remember, for sure.
who's, sorry, can you say that
That was
again?
me.
Lois?
Oh, I just said it's harder than I remember.
Yeah, when you do it right. It's very minimalist. And you'll see too, like I can even feel myself wanting to sort of sustain and turn with what I'm hearing in the music. So that's a beautiful quality about it, and also kind of a confusion point that, of course, because we do apply this to music, and that music is always changing, that we have to have this sense of musicality and this breath that has to find its expansion and its connection with what we're doing in our physical sense. So that might feel like it's and whip to get this thing in. It might be dump, boom, and go right away. And again, as you get more kind of in an intermediate advanced scale, you're going to play with where your timing is. So you'll know like your slow is 2 beats. Well, you break those down to 1 and 2 and. Well, once you got that, then you can break it down to 1 and a 2 and and start dancing through there. And then you can steal a little bit off the beats before and after. So it's not really 1 and a 2 and. It's and a 1 and a 2 and, right? So again, there's a lot within that where you can start to find different qualities of the music and how you would play with this information and still be legal in terms of a syllabus application of it. Did I lose everyone on that? Does that make sense? Good? Okay, cool. Okay, so we are kind of nearing up to our, like when we're supposed to formally start our Q&A. Did we have any burning questions? And if not, I'd like to just maybe throw in one more thing here. So throw a hand up if you have questions waiting. Otherwise, we're going to just do a little bit more content. Okay. So I want to try this same thing, thinking of it more of a link action, stealing a little bit more from standard. So in our American, right, we said we've got our T, A, N, G, O is like that dragging action. When we get to a change, we call it a link in our international standard tango. It's quick, quick, and we're almost arriving right onto that foot. We don't have this sense of kind of having to fill out that slow. So if we apply the link to this, we could have our slow, slow, we would call it now 2 walks, and our link quick, quick. So we would be arriving with our weight already onto that rotated position. We'd still have the same body actions, and in fact, we have a little bit more of an oppositional check and rotation of that left side forward to close it. So we do dance this a lot in American style as well, and it builds a great foundation to know the differences between the two and how we would apply them. So let's take a second, dance that step, and we'll do that both lead and follow. So leaders, if you would join me first, we'll do our 2 walks, slow, slow, quick being the same, so a little bit of a positive side, and then arriving kind of right on that 1/8 of turn, foot and head, quick. Body's gonna come now, positive with our left forward. Okay, so that's giving our link. Finding my followers now, join me. We'd have slow, slow, quick, thinking again, that positive side here, not negative here, right? And arriving right to it, quick. So just kind of shortening and speeding up a lot. You could still hold the slow before you take off. Just a little different technique. Great way to dance it. Cool on that? Okay. Grab your towels you brought. So we're going to talk just really briefly, and I want to give you an exercise if you're kind of someone who's into this. So one of the things that typically happens when we turn to promenade is that we put our head right here in the middle. So any head change, no matter what standard or smooth dance I'm in, always has to be arcing around the back of the body. So it's kind of holding that line here and it's turning here. It doesn't stand up in the middle and then re-throw itself back out. You can see right away how that breaks the line. I'm also not going with nose over my shoulder to nose over my shoulder. And this is for my lead and my follow rolls, all this information. So it should feel like I'm going, again, that 1/8 of turn we talked about. We think perpendicular lines here and here. My left line is somewhere in the middle of my head. Everything else that might make it look extended is coming from that underneath sway and extension of the body. Now, if I turn it to a right line, same, 1 and 2, it's just on that angle, and then any extension is coming from somewhere else, not from me just moving my head. Okay, so we'll revisit that in depth when we get to our concept class, but just to give you some kind of food for thought now, if you're ready to practice headlines in tango, you can throw your towel down, and you're gonna lay on your stomachs, coming into like a little bit of a sphinx in yoga, and drop that head down. So from here, you can just practice lengthening up, keeping a long line from the center of your back up through the top of your head. So notice that I'm not thinking of my head lifting, but I'm getting a nice long line here. And then from that point, I can think of 1/8 left and 1/8 right. And feeling that my head is really staying almost at the back of my spine. I'm not letting it drop in any way. So this just gives me a little more support to start building the line that I'm going to apply for my frame. I'm going to do that one more time from a side view. So We'll kind of down again in that swing so we can just practice this lengthening up, right? It doesn't have to be big, but we're feeling that pinch point, and this will come in when we talk about a little more zigzag balance. And going 1/8, staying around the back, 1/8. So just right and left, really gradual. Again, I'm not pinching my back here. I should still get a nice little bit of length. I should really feel like it's working here, right? And again, nothing's kind of lifting in my chin. So that's the other main point, that we've got a solid back line in our whole upper spine that supports the head. And starting to get us feeling where that back arc could happen from and how it's supported down into the trunk. So, kind of food for thought if you are an intermediate advanced level. It's a really nice exercise. You should feel that a little bit, even just in that small bit we've done it. And as we get to our concept class, we'll talk about how that not only affects just this little changing action of closed position to promenade position we've done in Tango, but how we would apply that and really amplify it going into our swing and sway dances through. So any questions on that? I know it's like weird, like, hey, lay on the floor and it's ballroom dance class, but it gives you a different sense of how to support your weight and should really help you feel that how all of this spine lifts, again, is one piece. It's not just head weight. It's an extension of the whole upper spine. All right, questions now. Yay, go for it, Ames.
Yeah, so I want to feel the muscles in my back. So with this exercise, are we supposed to be like really using our arms for support, or are we just are we supposed to be like doing the Superman and like using our back mostly with our arms there?
You're going to use the support of your arms, but you're not like if your arms are shaking, you're supporting so much, you're doing too much with your arms. So I really am feeling it like kind of center back. Kind of for me, it's like a bra line upward feel and kind of tracing that whole, ESG group all the way up into the head. So as I'm kind of sphinxing from there, that's where I'm feeling it. I do feel like I've got contact here and I've got a little support, especially more towards the upper forearm elbow, but I'm not like trying to do a kind of a mini push-up sort of action with my arm either. It's really a way to help build this strength. One main thing to kind of get you triggering the right muscles too is to not do it like, oh, I'm trying to pick up and stay on. Actually almost feel like someone's pulling the string out of your head. So your spine is actually starting by going out and then it's kind of arcing up and floating up on the angle. And sometimes just that change of initiation places your weight differently into your hands versus how your spine would start if you didn't have that.
So are you thinking like muscles around your like scapula, like shoulders area?
Sorry, I can't tell who's talking now. Same. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes and no. So this is coming from like a huge point in my dance professional career where as I started working with some high-level standard coaches, they kept telling me like, make a double chin. And I was like, what in the world are you talking about? Do you not realize like this is an aesthetic sport? And what they were trying to do after I dug deeper was to get me to feel like this sense of backspace through the head. And like I said, we'll talk about it through Zigzag Balance, but if I could mark kind of that sternum point and draw an arrow through that would come out the back of my head, that was the line they wanted to see in the extension of my head position. So thinking almost that this whole piece of upper spine, like here to here, and how that went out on the angle then was a really different way to approach headline or a change to promenade, because then it wasn't about what my head was doing. It was about how my back and my upper back was connecting down. Is that, again, like I know this is complicated stuff, but this is a great like gift of COVID to be able to talk about things that are detailed and nuanced like this and get a chance to experience them. So spend some time with that if you can. It will only enhance what we talk about in our smooth class, our smooth concept class, excuse me, and just let us build upon that as a framework for those of you who are ready for really thinking about more advanced shaping and headlines. Other questions, comments, concerns? Cool. Yeah. Good. I see lots of thumbs up. I lost Ross. Oh, Ross, come back. Well, Connor's back. Hi, Connor. Cool. Well, let's try it all with music if we have more time then. Is that okay with everyone? So let's dance. You can do lead or follow. I'll just put music on. We'll count it through. And let's do the first version. So our basic and our promenade basic. And then we'll do second time with that linking action. Kind of 2 walks and a link, and then our promenade basic, more or less. If we had time or if we really wanted, we would do a closed promenade, but yeah, we don't. So let's try that out. Set yourself up for whatever role you'd like to dance. I'll do leaders first and then follows. Ready? Here we go. Slow. One more time with my leaders. And slow. All right, follows. 5, 6, here we go. And one more time. Good. All right, please dance 1 or 2 more times on your own. Each once on your own, whatever part. Good. Nice. All right, cool. Let's do the second version. Leaders. 5, 6, here we go. Slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. 5, 6, here we go. Slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. Followers. 5, 6, 7, 8, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. One more time, follow. 5, 6, here we go. Slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. And try that on your own one time. Nice. Good. Great. Like, really nice to see some of you playing with that. And again, it's clear. I can really see the concept, and I'm super, super excited about that. So well done. Thanks for hanging with me on kind of some probably new expressions of maybe material you might have already heard for those of you who are more veteran. And thanks for trying it out if you're newer, right? It's always scary to do new things. So kudos to you. Glad you were here.